I came to Midas with the contract in my bag and one last hope in my chest. Then I heard the sounds behind Nash's office door. One push, one glimpse, and the man I loved became the truth I had been too afraid to see. The suitcase looks too small for everything I'm leaving behind. I folded another sweater mechanically before placing it into the open suitcase on my bed. My bed in my allocated room. Not ours. Never ours. I zip it closed anyway. The sound is final. A full stop at the end of a sentence I spent 12 months trying to rewrite. Wednesday had been what finally killed the pathetic hope still clinging inside me. That night clarity finally settled in. Painful. Absolute. If I stayed, it would be on his terms, under the restraints of a contract that I had never wanted. I would spend the rest of my life begging for crumbs from a man who thought my love was both a burden and a lie. I would just be another paid contracted screw until he lost interest. The Friday girl, and I couldn't survive that. Even if leaving felt like tearing my own heart out. My hand trembled as I reached for the white gold chain around my neck. My fingers curled around the pendants resting there. The promise ring. And next to it, half of a jagged broken heart. Both smaller versions of the ones in the ring box. Because my heart was left behind there, broken and property of Nash. I wheeled the suitcases out before slipping my coat on. The penthouse was silent around me. No trace left of the girl who had once foolishly imagined building a future here. I shut the door behind me and walked toward the elevator on trembling legs. Something inside me, probably grief, clawed at my heart with each floor I descended, as if I was leaving something precious behind. By the time I reached the lobby, my chest hurt so badly I thought I might collapse. I took a deep breath in to steady myself before I wheeled my case over to the mailbox for the penthouse. I paused before slipping my hand into my coat pocket and taking out the key and access card. The penthouse key sat cold in my palm. For a long moment I simply stared at it. Then slowly, carefully, I slid it into the mailbox. No goodbye note. No dramatic final plea. Because love should never have to beg to be chosen. I stepped outside alone, dragging the 2 trolley suitcases behind me. Outside, it's gray. Drizzle slicking the pavement, blurring the skyline until the whole city looks like a watercolor left in the rain. It matches my mood. Washed out. Bleeding at the edges. My Uber pulled up to the curb. The Uber driver stepped out and loaded my luggage into the trunk before opening the back door for me. JFK, he asked kindly. I nodded mutely. The warmth inside the car made everything worse somehow. As if the comfort and sanctuary of it was mocking the coldness and isolation that was already wrapping itself around my soul. As we pulled away from the curb, I looked up automatically toward the towering penthouse windows high above the city. Dark. Empty. No sign that once I had lived and loved there. My vision blurred instantly. I turned toward the rain-streaked window, pressing trembling fingers against the chain at my throat as tears finally spilled freely down my cheeks. My heart was still up there. Still loving him. Still waiting for a man who had never truly wanted it. The driver glanced at me through the rearview mirror, concern softening his expression. You all right back there, miss? I wiped quickly beneath my eyes and forced a smile so fragile it physically hurt. I'm fine, I whispered, but as the car carried me farther toward JFK, away from Nashian Blackthorpe and every foolish dream I'd built around him, I realized something devastating. I had survived foster homes, hunger, loneliness, abandonment, a brutal attack, but loving the wrong person. Entrusting your heart, your body, your soul, your everything to someone who never wanted it, who trampled all over it. That kind of ruin stays inside you forever. Something felt wrong the moment I stepped out of the elevator and opened the door. Inside it was dark, silent, empty. I frowned as I reached for the light switch. The penthouse illuminated instantly. Normally by now there would be signs of her everywhere. Music playing softly from her studio. The scent of whatever ridiculous candle she was currently obsessed with. A mug abandoned on the kitchen counter. A sketchbook left open somewhere. Evidence that she existed. Evidence that she was here. But tonight there was nothing. The silence felt unnatural. I loosened my tie and walked further inside. Valentina. No answer. My jaw tightened. I pulled out my phone. Still no reply to my message. I told myself she was pouting. Sulking. Trying to make a point. But the feeling that had followed me from the office returned. Stronger now. Heavier. I found myself heading toward her room. A room I barely entered over the last year. I opened the door. Then stopped. The room looked wrong. Too clean. Too empty. A knot formed somewhere in my chest. Slowly I crossed the room and opened her closet. My stomach dropped. Empty. Every hanger remained. Every item of clothing was gone. I checked the dresser. Nothing. The vanity. Nothing. Not even her perfume bottles. The endless clutter of products women seemed incapable of living without. Gone. All of it gone. My pulse began to pound. I yanked open another drawer. Then another. Then another. Nothing. Then I froze. The lingerie drawer. Every expensive piece I'd ever bought her sat neatly folded inside. Silk. Lace. Designer labels. Thousands upon thousands of dollars worth. Some still with their tags on. Untouched. Left behind. A sour taste filled my mouth. Because suddenly I remembered her face every time I would hand her the boutique bag. It would light up until she saw the contents. And then she would paste a smile on her face. "It's beautiful, but let's admit it, Nash. This is for you more than it is for me," she would tease. The image of her kneeling in front of me last Saturday flashed through my mind. The titanium promise ring. The hopeful smile. The trembling hands. "You are it for me, Nash." The memory landed like a punch, followed immediately by another. The tears. The heartbreak she tried and failed to hide. The way she'd physically flinched when I'd thrown her feelings back in her face. I shoved the memory away. This was ridiculous. She wasn't gone. Not really. She was probably staying with Livy. Cooling off. Trying to prove a point. Women did this all the time. They left. They cried. They waited. Then they came back. She'd come back. She had to. I left her room and headed toward my own. The knot in my chest tightened because the moment I stepped inside, I saw it. The black card. Sitting neatly on the dresser. Waiting for me. I stopped moving. Stared at it. Then picked it up. My expression hardened. For the first time all evening, something dangerously close to anger surfaced. No. Not anger. Wounded pride. No woman had ever walked away from me. Ever. They cried. They begged. They bargained. Some became angry. Others became vindictive. But eventually they all wanted back in. Every single one. Yet standing there with the card in my hand, a realization slowly began settling over me. Valentina wasn't acting like someone who intended to return. She was acting like someone who was erasing herself from my life. My jaw clenched. I turned and headed toward the art studio. The room she'd practically lived in. The room I'd only entered once. Now I opened the door. And stopped dead. The room was empty. Not tidy. Empty. The canvases were gone. The easels. The paints. The shelves. The drawings. Everything. Only the desk and office chair remained. Forlorn and lonely like abandoned children. The sight hit me unexpectedly hard. Because for the first time all evening, denial became difficult. This wasn't a tantrum. This wasn't sulking. This wasn't some dramatic stunt. Someone had spent hours packing, planning, preparing, leaving. The realization made my blood boil. I laughed once. Coldly. Disbelievingly. Then again. She'd left. Valentina Rossi had actually left me. The audacity of it ignited something dark inside me. Fine. Let her go. Let her have her little rebellion. Her little adventure. She'd come back. And when she did, she might be my favorite, but I wouldn't make it easy. She would apologize. She would explain. And she would understand exactly how badly she'd miscalculated. No woman discarded Nash in Blackthorpe. No woman. The thought soothed my bruised ego enough that I finally left the studio. As I crossed the kitchen, something caught my eye. A small velvet ring box sat on the island counter. My steps slowed. The smirk immediately returned. There it is. Of course. A clue. A message. A breadcrumb. Women never simply left. There was always something. Some dramatic gesture. Some hidden meaning. Some test.